In just a few years, this phone will look like this phone. I'm Josie Lord. We live in a wonderful world with a wonderful diversity of phones. There's the Apple, the Samsung, Amazon. But with great diversity comes extraordinary discrimination. How many times have you been made fun of for buying a Samsung instead of an Apple? For buying an Apple phone, but having it black instead of white? That's why we're here. Neighborly Phones is an organization dedicated to keeping you up to date on the latest technology, while also keeping everyone happy and healthy. How does this work? Well, every year we send you the latest phones on the market. So you'll get the best phones and the worst phones. The greatest part of this is, no one will feel like they've been ripped off or haven't tried anything new. Everyone is equal. All this is possible for only $3 grand a month. Come on, let's hear from some of our buyers.
Well, when I was about 7 or so, my dog died. I love Neighborly Phones.
Ever since I had my daughter, here she is, she's 2, her name's Jillian, I just haven't had time to keep up with their latest phone technology. I mean, I always get something dumb, like a Sony phone. Thanks to Neighborly Phones, people can respect me and respect the time I put into taking care of my daughter.
The moment when I first bought Neighborly Phones, I was like, oh my gosh. I went straight over to my friend's house and I said, girlfriend, you gotta get Neighborly Phones. And she said, what? And I said, yeah, don't talk to me around it. Neighborly Phones changed everything in my life. It changed my love life. It changed the car I drive, changed the way I dress, changed the way I look, changed the way I think about myself, changed who I'm gonna vote for in this election. It changed my whole perception. Get Neighborly Phones now.
Not convinced on whether Neighborly Phones is right for you? Well, let's hear from one of our experts. We here at Neighborly Phones understand that sometimes what you need is not what you really want. Every time you buy a subscription to Neighborly Phones, you save some phone companies' feelings from being hurt. Imagine all the wonderful businessmen living in the blissful ignorance that their phones really don't stink. And imagine all the people happy to know that they're not the only ones who own a junky phone. Now, you can own the junky phones and the good phones, and no one gets hurt. Now I know what you're thinking. How can Neighborly Phones help save the environment? Well, that's easy. Every time Neighborly Phones get distributed, part of the ozone thins. In fact, since 2001, we have been the only thing standing between prosperity and a global heat wave. Haven't you wondered why Miami hasn't sunk yet? And with Neighborly Phones coating, we can assure you that it only lets off about 2,000 kilowatts a day. Now that's about negative 100% of the pollution released by M&Ms in 1 second. Waiting for? Call now at 1-900-543-2424. If you call now, you'll only have to pay $29.99.99 a month instead of $3 grand. Thank you for watching. We here at Neighborly Phones understand that sometimes what you need is not what you really want. Every time you buy a subscription to Neighborly Phones, you save someone's feelings from being hurt. Imagine somebody being The minute I got Neighborly Phones, I was like, oh my gosh. I went straight over to my friend's house and I said, girlfriend, you gotta get Neighborly Phones. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. Neighborly Phones changed everything about me. Changed the way I think, the way I dress, the way I walk, who I'm gonna vote for this election. Changed my whole perception. Get Neighborly Phones now or you're a hater.